Assalamu alaikum. You are now tuned to Shakil and Company on America's Islamic Radio. I'm your host, Kevin Shakil, and today's exciting interview is sponsored by Igna Relief, JG Advisors, Element Stencil, Issue Realtor, and Tech Bites. Today, we're doing a little catching up interview with our brother, catching up with Way of Life SQ. Assalamu alaikum, SQ. How are you?
Welcome salam to all those watching. Appreciate you guys so much. I missed you all. Shakil, what's going on, bro?
Alhamdulillah, bro. How are you doing, man?
Listen, I'm good. I heard you caught a little something. Talk to us, bro. You good?
Alhamdulillah, bro. I'm good, man. Alhamdulillah. Thank God. No complaints. Still kicking and breathing, man.
Alhamdulillah. That's what's up, man. Listen, I remember you and I went to the MAS conference or ICNA conference in, what was it, February, was it? February.
January, February, right?
Something like that. And man, it was just such a blast, bro. It was such a blast just spending time with you. That little road trip that we took. We went to the Crackle Barrel, whatever that place was. That was
Cracker Barrel was on point.
My first time you put me on. We played that peg game. That was just so much fun, bro. So like,
you remember the pen game?
I remember the peg game, bro. I don't forget stuff, man. I don't forget these bonds and memories. So it's just crazy how it all started off from like us meeting at a masjid, right? One of the most blessed people for you to meet. Then like it's just nice for your viewers to see this as well, that our relationship didn't just stop and start like this. We actually spent time with each other. You came over for hijama a couple of times or once or so, and that was nice too. And we went, had a nice road trip. I'm not going to spill the tea, but he may or may not be snoring. He may or may not be snoring type of sleeper, but nonetheless, it was fun.
Listen, man, Eski's the kind of guy who actually wakes you up for Fajr.
Yeah, I did do that. That's true.
Yeah. Listen, it's been a pleasure, man. I mean, I really miss you, but I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Even though you're like 25, 35 minutes away from me, man, I miss you, man.
Same, bro. Like this whole quarantine has really pushed us all, I think, in so many directions. But I think one lesson I'm personally learning is to never take anything for granted, bro. Like just these relationships, I'll see you tomorrow type of relationships. Nah, man. Like make the most out of them. And I was looking forward to going with you to ICNA this year in April. But that
we had that whole thing planned out. We were gonna go out.
Hey, let's go. We'll do this. We'll kill it. It'll be fun. I had a bunch of video ideas I was gonna do over there. I'm still gonna do them, but might not be at ICNA, but it'll be somewhere else, inshallah.
Inshallah. So, SQ, how are you doing with quarantine right now, man? I mean, what's keeping you busy right now?
I think that quarantine, bro, has really pushed me because look, Ramadan. It's not just quarantine, but it's also Ramadan. And in Ramadan, I try to be active, and I try to be more active than I usually am. And I'm already pretty active doing the live game show. That's something that's been really taking up a lot of my time. And just overall posting daily reminders and trying to do all that. But I'll be honest with you, man, I've taken a step back to really enjoy these last 10 nights to myself and, just do some proper tazkiyah, some purification of the heart, and just focusing on that, man. So quarantine has been a blessing in disguise.
Listen, I've been watching your game shows, and I believe yesterday or the day before, before you went like actual live with people, you were having a conversation with your wife, and you were talking about, what you guys were doing for the last 10 nights. So can you tell our viewers exactly what you're doing for the last 10 nights?
Yeah, man. Listen, I think that, so my wife and I, we don't drink coffee. We stay away from caffeine and stuff like that. We don't really do sugar, caffeine and things. For the last 10 nights, we definitely, are doing a little caffeine. Having, all those parents out there who have children and, how that's like a job in itself, and then to now devote your time to Allah can be difficult. But we basically just made it like a sleepover. So instead of taking the kids upstairs, we let them fall asleep and crash. Once they crash on the sofa with us, we just read some Quran. We set a little timer for 40 minutes, and we just do nonstop Quran, ignoring each other, and just she's reading her Quran, I'm reading my Quran. And then after that, we take a little break. Then we do a 5-5-5 dua challenge, where for 5 minutes we make dua for each other. And then the other 5 minutes making dua for everyone, like anyone that pops in our minds, the Muslims, whoever. And then the last 5 minutes making dua for yourself. I think that I find it to be a really fun activity. And, people really get, you set a timer for 5 minutes and you get lost within that and just raising your hands and praying to Allah. Next thing you know, that timer goes off, and that's what it is. So we did the same yesterday too, alhamdulillah.
So how has your relationship, obviously being with your wife in the last 10 days of Ramadan, you guys are actually praying together, right? Is this like bringing you guys closer?
That's a really good question, actually, bro. I think that not only is it bringing us closer, but it's also exposing our weaknesses, and this is where a lot of couples try to brush things under the carpet, right? Because they don't want to look like their marriage has problems, or they don't want to, deal or confront those arguments. Everyone has arguments. But a lot of times we don't take time to like really dig deep as to what's the reason for those arguments. So I think that like yesterday, bro, we had like an over 40-minute conversation as to how we can improve our relationship and what's annoying us about each other. And it was so heartwarming and positive because we realized that, listen, if we want our children to be happy in a happy home, it won't be happy unless we're happy. And we got to be happy with each other. And that's how it's really going to spread out to the kids. And we had such a beautiful conversation, such a positive, constructive conversation about what am I doing, some things that are in my blind spot that I can't see, that she's pointing out to me, and I'm doing the same for her. And we're just both renewing our intention. You know how we're supposed to renew our intention? We're renewing our intention for our marriage too, in a weird way. We're renewing our intentions as why are we married, right? What's happening? Why are we still together? Is it just for the kids? Because if it is, that's a bad reason, right? It needs to be because we love each other for the sake of Allah. We love Allah. And that's one of the reasons, bro, you approach 6 years, 7 years in your marriage and the marriage becomes stagnant. Why? Because you become so comfortable with each other, bro. A few weeks back, bro, I learned some things about my wife that I didn't even know about. Like I learned a different history of her life that I didn't even know existed. And it was just so fascinating that the TV is off and we're just talking to each other, getting to know each other at a deeper level. And man, just to know that in 6 or 7 years, we can still have that freshness. That's what you got to do, but you got to keep it alive.
It's basically you're basically bonding together. Like quarantine and Ramadan has got you guys to bond more with each other, opposed to daily life where everybody's out and about working nonstop.
Yeah. Usually, I'm in and out the house. I come in late. Kids are approaching to sleep. But now we get to see each other more. But that also means getting on each other's nerves at times too, because she has a routine, I have a routine, and we're now mixing those two things together. And I'm sure a lot of people are going through that too right now. But the number one thing is the key is communication, because if you don't communicate, then even though the shaitan might not be around right now, he still, has taught us for 11 months straight throughout the year how to sow the seeds of enmity, and the enmity gets sown in our minds and doubts get creeping in our mind. And as soon as Ramadan is over, he comes and whispers and, gardens or, puts nutrition on those plants and seeds that are in our minds, those doubts that are in our minds. So the best way to remove them is by communicating. Communicate like, hey, I've communicated in the past with my wife that sometimes I feel like it's not going to work. But that's the time when our bond becomes greater. I believe, man, I get so many messages on the DM, from sisters. My marriage is falling apart. Me and my husband are on the brink of divorce. If I click their profile, bro, it has 2 kissy-faced people in a ring and saying Alhamdulillah. Why? Because people want to put this fake image to the world that their marriage is so good. Because the truth of the matter is that your marriage sucks, but you don't want to address that issue. You don't want to get the counseling. You don't want to get the help that you actually need, because that will cause a stigma. That will basically cause you to realize that, hey, maybe things aren't good. Maybe someone will find out. Who cares if they find out? It's more important for you to deal with the issue and solve the problems in your marriage. And that's what you got to do. So I'm not averse to having any problems with my marriage. The Messenger ﷺ wasn't averse to having any problems in his marriage too. But the difference was that he dealt with the issues, And, we got to do the same. We got to deal with the issues.
I think that's an issue with our Muslim community all across the world, where we are afraid of what other people are going to think or what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Opposed to actually reaching out for help and trying to figure out what the solution is. They just want to put a facade and just keep life status quo.
That's true, bro. And the real facade is not for the people, but it's really for themselves. Like we want to say, oh, what are people going to think? But the truth is you're insecure about what you're going to think, right? You're really insecure about your life and what people will. The reason you're worried about people's perception about you is because you're not comfortable with the perception that you have for yourself. That's a deeper insecurity that people really have to dig at, and it's like my daughters and I, we were like planting like little pots, like little kid pots, and where they get soil and they put little seeds in there. And we realized something, man, that if we put a seed inside the pot and we pack it too hard with the soil, it won't blossom, it won't grow. You gotta loosely, like lightly spread it on top so that, eventually the seed could grow into the flower that it's meant to be. Sometimes, we have these seeds of, like quarrels and hatred and problems between us and our spouses. But guess what? Because we pack on the soil on top of that, we're unable to deal with it. We're trying to bury the problem instead of solving the problem and figuring out the issue. But you know what? That's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes we're so insecure with ourselves that We don't want anyone to know about our problems, including ourselves.
Listen, SQ, you're the type of person who's very active on social media. There's a daughter we were talking about.
One of them.
How is she doing, by the way?
She's good, man. MashaAllah. She's all right, though. It's one of my daughters is 2.5, so she's going through the terrible twos. This one is really awesome because she's like 4, so she's fun, more fun than the other one because she understands. And yeah, she's chilling, man. I'm sorry, what you were saying. I'm sorry about that.
I lost my train of thoughts because
you're active in social media.
Yeah, sorry. So you're so active on social media, right? And you're putting all this content on. You're putting yourself out there, right? Don't you have some time when you have self-doubts or just like, I don't think people are going to like this, or I'm going to say the wrong thing? I think we had a discussion.
What's interesting about that is that I do have those thoughts. And, the interesting thing is, and this is what I was talking about, the tazkiyah, the purification of the heart. If I'm doing this for the sake of Allah, right, my heart needs to be warmed with the fact that Allah loves it, that Allah appreciates, that Allah likes it. The moment I start putting people's thoughts and their appreciation, immediately in my heart, I have 2 masters. The first master is Allah. The second master is the people. And the heart can only have 1 master. So I start getting torn between doing things for the people and doing things for the sake of Allah. And that becomes a huge problem, right? That becomes like, and by the way, there's a difference between self-awareness of content and posting things that I know people will benefit from. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about from that perspective of doing this for the views, People saying clout chasing, that's the new term or whatever. That's the thing. When you have, in your mind, you're putting out content that you're thinking ahead about, oh, this is going to get likes, this is going to get views, this is going to get that. That's never the right thing to do, and you're going to feel it in your heart. And I'm not, immune to having such problems. I'm not. In fact, I'd argue I'm the most at-risk person to have such problems because I'm on social media all the time. But this also means that I have to do things privately that involve tazkiyah, that involves purification of the heart, to remind myself, why am I doing this? I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. And hey, if the video does really, really well in this world, wow, that's awesome, mashallah. But that's not the goal. The goal is to inform people, to help people, but to do it for the sake of Allah. I can't. I'll do it later for you. I see them later. Okay, can you go now, please? I love you. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. So listen, obviously me spending time with you, right? I see how hard you work at your craft. Obviously, you have a nice following. People follow you. People listen to you and watch you, right? People don't see the behind the scenes, that the work it takes, edit videos, to put the videos out, to put, highlights and captions on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people just think that it just comes easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So can you just talk about a little bit about how the work that goes into each video and everything that you edit to put out there, to make people happy?
That's a really good point. And I remember when we were like sharing that room together in a hotel when we went to ICNA, you saw my first priority was, see, Maya was sleeping over there. Go now, please. Please, Majan. Thank you. You saw that my first priority was to set up my station, right? As soon as we got there, I'm like, bro, I got to take that table because it has the power plug. I have to set up my laptop. We got in the hotel.
You remember the light?
Huh?
Remember the light?
Oh, yeah, you see, listen, man, it's the real thing. I set up the light. I set up everything that I had to, and then I started my my editing station. And as soon as I finished with some of the footage, I immediately jumped on, tried to get the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi wasn't working. We tried to do all these things, but we sort of figured it out, right? At once upon a time, I would have been excited to show the people and tell the people, do you know how much work I'm putting in? Do you know how I'm doing that? But I've realized 2 things with that. One, people don't care, and nor should they. They don't care, and nor should they. And the second thing is I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for the sake of Allah, and I think that that's the time I have to be the most sincerest and the most purest, because those 2 hours that it takes for me to edit a video, that's the time where I have to fix and correct my intention before I click upload, right? Before I click upload, I have to remind myself that, Allah, I did this for your sake. I did this to worship you, Allah, to help the people, to provide a product that will make them laugh, smile, entertain them, to keep them away from haram. And Allah, I'm doing this for your sake. Allah, please reward me for this, and please accept this from me. I mean, press upload and let whatever happens. You know what I mean? So I don't want to discuss how long it takes and, good job. No, I did that for the sake of Allah, and that's what it is. Hey, beautiful. Okay, Maidan, can you go downstairs now?
This is 2020 quarantine. This is how we do interviews now. We have to get used to it.
Yeah.
So SQ, listen, you have an awesome game show that you're doing on your Instagram Live every day.
Yeah.
What gave you the motivation? What was the idea behind it, and what's the goal for it?
Bro, the entire thing is this. So I don't know how you were when you were younger, in the younger days. You're still young, mashallah, but like in the younger days, like the non-practicing days, or perhaps anything besides that, even when you were just young, even still practicing. Bro, fasting could be something tedious. It becomes a chore. It becomes like, you find a way to kill time, right? And, you might want to sleep a little more, binge watch stuff and all that sort of stuff. So I said, look, if people are watching stuff, why don't I give them something to watch? And that's where the inception came about. I do the quizzes and all that sort of stuff on my YouTube channel, but I thought it'd be cool to do something throughout the entire month of Ramadan. And I didn't want it to be like I just asked you questions and there was no reward behind it. So, alhamdulillah, I get like some sponsors every now and then. And whatever money that they give me, I just put it towards the game show. And, whatever money they were providing for me, I just bought the, excuse me, I used the money to buy some AirPods. I recently got another sponsor, and I bought an iPhone SE with that so I could give the people. And that's just what it is, man. I believe in rewarding people for knowing stuff and for seeking knowledge. And hey, remember we spoke about this in the car. Remember I was talking about the AirPods? And I was you called the guy to get the AirPods for me too. It's a real thing, bro. And you heard me in the car when I was saying this, man. Like I want to encourage this between people, and I want other people to start this too. I don't want it to be like a monopoly and me get jealous of people. Like, nah, I think people should start this more and do that. But I want it to be real prizes because I thought it'd be cooler, and I think that people should deserve to be rewarded for their knowledge,
And and then you're doing these game shows, right? How has the reaction been? When people, when you accept them and people come on the live, right?
I think that's my favorite part. I think honestly, that's my favorite part behind the entire thing. And recently, I've gotten my wife involved too because she saw how emotionally draining it could be doing it, and naturally you're fasting as well, but there's a attachment that you have to these things. And she started to join me just for some extra support, which I couldn't be. I'm so grateful for. And she helps me pick now completely random. And some people are like, bro, I've been trying since the first date. Finally, I got picked,
I'm still trying, bro.
Hey, man. May Allah bless you for that, bro.
You gotta get some AirPods, man.
Randomly picking people and all that sort of stuff. It's just so much fun. And then people really freak out. Like there was a sister yesterday who was hyperventilating that she did that. And I'm just like, sis, just take a deep breath. It's not that serious. But I fail to realize how serious it is for people. And I'm so blessed and fortunate to have such a supportive community of a handful of people who watch the show. Like it's like a cult, like a cult classic. Like you have those movies that become instant cult classics, and it's not like a massive following, but it's a diehard following of people. So I'm not interested in having 100,000 views, even though that'd be awesome, to reach that many people. But just 250, 300 live at the moment, all the time, the viewers. It just means a lot, and it's my responsibility to cultivate them and to grow them and say, hey, you know what? How can I bring this throughout the rest of the month too, and not just Ramadan? How can I bring this throughout the year? And I think it'd be really fun.
Listen, while I was watching, obviously, because it's more of a learning thing for me as well to see, the questions you're asking, like, hey, do I actually know the answer to that? And then me researching it, and it's cool, right? But you had a special guest on there the other day where it was, I guess, a random, and he joined.
Yeah.
Mr. Mufti Menk?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So I honestly thought I was getting trolled. I didn't really know because at the end of the day, bro, like, I feel like that really highlighted my entire like live show because that day was a funny day. Because that day I was telling my wife how emotionally drained I am from doing this, bro, because like I have to be there at 6 to 7, and I have other things to do. I have commitments to do. And, I didn't want that. I didn't want that to interfere with anything. And I felt like it was becoming something more tedious for me to do because it's tough to do, man. Like every single day, it's really tough. And as you know, with the live show yourself. I remember telling my wife that day that, listen, I think that I'm just going to take a break from this entire thing. And she was like, okay, listen, do that then. If you need to take a break, you don't need permission from people to take a break. It's your life. It's your, it's your emotional health. It's your mental health. Take your break if you need one. And that day, I wasn't going to go live. I was just going to be like, skip it, whatever, right? And I decided to go on live. And I had this sister, and then the comment section was on. I turned on the comment section, and everyone's like, Mufti Meg, Mufti Meg, Mufti Meg. And I thought they're saying that I look like Mufti Meg, because I get that sometimes, you know? And I'm just like, oh, Mufti, what are you talking about? And then someone's just like, Mufti Meg's here. I'm like, Mufti Meg's not here. Like, he has fake accounts, this and that. And then Mufti Meg started writing, I'm here, my brother, assalamu alaikum, this and that. I'm just like, stop, you ain't Mufti Meg, cut it out, right?
Another troll.
Yeah, you're trolling me, stop it, right? Then I noticed that there was like an official tick next to Mufti Meg. It's just like, whoa, it's a tick. Like, what is that all about? And I click him, and it's Mufti Meg, and I'm absolutely overwhelmed, right? I'm just like, what? It's Mufti Meg. I don't even know what to do or to say, you know? And this is not my first time meeting Mufti Meg. I met him like super surprised once upon a time before, and it was really incredible. It was really incredible. Because that's actually what jump-started, kicked off my Instagram, but I think that's a different story to tell. But that's what jump-started my Instagram page, me meeting Mufti Meg. And just to have him come now was just such a surprise. It was such an honor, and I love the guy, and I'm a huge supporter of him as well. And I don't know, I really appreciated that. It was cool that he came to smaller people and just joined them. I thought that was dope.
No, that was really dope. I actually watched and I was like, huh? That's Mufti Meg. It was cool.
Yeah, and he was just like super supportive. Like, yo, I appreciate that you're engaging the people in this, you know? And it's not about numbers. It's about like, yo, you're doing something really dope. And I just really appreciated the Mufti Meg supporting me like that. So that was nice.
Yeah, and I don't think he won AirPods though that day, did he?
He didn't win AirPods.
But listen, we also know you're a math teacher, right? So obviously, you know, what are you doing with work right now? I mean, are you distance learning with your students? I mean, what's going on?
It's all online learning right now, and that's really what it's really come down to, bro. It's just all online learning. It's all straight up Zoom and Google Classroom and Hangouts and all that sort of stuff. And alhamdulillah, kids are trying to do the best that they can, bro. But it's tough for everyone, man. It's emotionally draining for teachers to be in front of a laptop to do this and to produce rigorous material every single day. It's a tough thing to do without the computers, let alone online now. So it's been really tough, but alhamdulillah, the year's coming to an end soon, inshallah, and this allows everyone to recover a little bit. Yeah, it's a real struggle. But I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to making a video soon, inshallah, where I'm surprising my Muslim students with Eid gifts. I think that's going to be a pretty cool video. So I'm going to be making a YouTube video soon, inshallah, where I surprise my Muslim students with Eid gifts for my class. So I don't know.
Now, I have a serious question for you. How do you balance it all, man? I mean, you're a social media influencer, and you're a math teacher, and you're a husband, and you're a father, and you're an awesome dude. So, I mean, how do you balance all of this?
You know, that's a really, really good question. I think that recently I was having trouble with that because I've been overwhelmed with so many things. But social media influence, those are words like are just like, that doesn't even like it's one of those words like it's cringe to even listen to, bro. Like such a word, like social media influencer and this and that. Like we're all influencers in our own ways or whatever. But I've been really blessed and fortunate to have an online supportive community who really just loves the content and benefits and appreciates the content. So that's one thing. But I've really, so it's interesting that you say that because I want to make this online space of mine a career, right? I want to make this like, I want to do this full time and actually be paid in a way where it could support me and the livelihood of my family. And I remember spending hours and hours and hours in this room that was once my hijama room, and now it's my office that I've made into, where I'm just spending hours and hours. Why? Because I want to make the life of my family better. I want to improve the life of my family, improve their lifestyle and all that sort of stuff. But by the time I get out of this place, I'm exhausted. I spend zero time with my family. And I'm like, hang on a second, I had to pull back. Like, okay, if I'm doing this for the sake of Allah, for the sake of my family, then why aren't I spending time with them? Isn't that what they really want from me? Isn't that the lifestyle that they really want, to know that their father, their husband, they're there for them? But what's the point of me being able to make X amount of money from this, but I'm earning it in a way that causes me to distance myself from the people I'm doing this for? You know, so I had to really step back, man, and just say, like, it's not worth it, you know? If I'm going to do this, this is risk written from Allah. I have to just put in my best work, time myself so that I'm not overworking myself, because that is a real thing, and spend time with my family, bro. Just really spend time with them and make them my priority, and Allah's going to sort out the rest. So that's my balance, bro, just making sure I'm prioritizing my relationship with Allah, prioritizing my relationship with my family, and then trying to get them more involved with my content, right? So like I've been making some videos where I got them involved. I thought that's super fun because I get to, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone with them. But it all gets really balanced with a really supportive wife. My wife is really supportive. She knows what I'm trying to do, and she really encourages me to be the best version of myself and to make things happen. Without her, I really couldn't be doing this, bro.
Amazing. Honestly, SQ, you're a brother to me. We talk all the time, and you know, trust me, the conversation you're having right now, this is how SQ is all the time. He's very raw and straightforward, and what he's saying right now is what he says on the private, the same thing. So
on the low, when they're rolling, it's the same version. It's the same kind of version. It's just me.
Yep. Absolutely. Listen, SQ, any final message you want to leave to our viewers for the last 10 nights of Ramadan that, you know, you want to give to them?
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, do your best, right? Like when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, He's not going to compare you to your siblings. He's not going to compare you the same way your family compares you to your cousins and compares you to other family members. And look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meets you on the day of judgment, you're standing in front of Him in the court of Allah. He's not going to compare you to anyone besides yourself. So I want you to really ask yourself, are you being the best version of yourself? Are you doing the best that you could do in these last 10 nights? If the answer is yes, alhamdulillah. But if the answer is like, you know what, there is room for improvement, then do that. You know, do the best that you absolutely can. Spend time with yourself, purifying your heart, purifying your intentions, and really, really ask yourself that, listen, if I can push it into another gear, just for these last 10 nights, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And let me actually do that. Because Allah is going to compare you to your own potential. And there's nothing worse than a wasted potential that you have. And another humbled request that I would have from anyone watching this on the Islamic radio right now, Jazakallah khair, Brother Shakil, for inviting me once again. It's truly an honor, a privilege. Anyone watching this right now, if you need someone to talk to, just an older brother, just someone to communicate with, and you're having a problem, whatever it is, just DM me. DM me on Instagram. And
what's your Instagram?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Just DM me on Instagram, Way of Life SQ, WAYOFLIFESQ, and just DM me on Instagram, and I'm gonna flag you. I'm gonna flag you because you're VIP. I'll know that you're coming from the Islamic Radio, and just like literally say, hey SQ, I'm coming from American Islamic Radio. You know, you may have a problem that you want to talk to me about, but you might not have a problem that you have, but you might have a problem in the future. But you might just say, SQ, flag me in case I ever need anything. And your bro SQ, just treat me as an older brother. I'll flag you. So if you might not have a problem right now, but it may be in 7.5 months, may Allah protect you, you have a problem, you know who to reach out to. Reach out to me. I'll see that you flagged, so you pop straight to the top of my inbox, and I'll immediately get back to you, inshallah. It's been an absolute honor and a privilege to speak to you all and to be invited back over here. May Allah bless you guys, and I sincerely appreciate you guys. And hey, show them that video that you wanted.
I couldn't do it. If you have Instagram, go on Way of Life SQ, and the last video he just posted is a real nice, you know.
How'd you like it, bro? By the way,
I loved it. By the way, man. Listen, I wish I could really do it in real life. I'm hungry right now, man.
Kind of quirky. I thought it was kind of quirky to do.
Listen, I'm hungry right now, man, and that video would come in clutch right now in real life scenarios.
No, man, I seen that, and I'm just like, listen, you know, like my dawah and everything that I do is like, obviously I give reminders and all that sort of stuff, but how do I reach? And this is where I was thinking, like, how do I reach the people who don't want to listen? How do I reach them? You know, so it's videos like that. Yeah. How do I reach people who don't want to listen to a reminder? And it comes from creative concepts like this. So this is just one of many that inshallah I plan on doing. And inshallah, I'm just gonna just do that. So yeah.
My question to you is, where did you put the sun?
Huh?
Where did you put the sun?
I took that with me, bro. That's a top secret.
Listen, you guys have been tuning to Shakil and Company America's Islamic Radio. We had a great conversation with my boy SQ from Way of Life SQ. Make sure definitely check out his content on Instagram and his YouTube page. Definitely subscribe and follow. And if you think anybody could benefit from this video, make sure you share and like it.
Yeah.
It's your brother Kevin Shakil from America's Islamic Radio. SQ, thank you for joining us. And inshallah, you know, we'll see you again soon, inshallah.
So.
Take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum.